Finance Minister Pravin Gordhan says illicit financial flows pose a threat to the country's economic performance. He says tough measures should be taken against those who rob the fiscus through illicit financial activities. Gordhan says one of the challenges is that there were too few convictions of those engaged in illicit financial activities. ANN7's Mpho Matoho has more.
The recent Panama Papers link has detailed how the wealthy exploit offshore tax regimes. Minister Pravin Gordhan weighed in, saying that governments across the continent must use the rule of law to fight those who engage in tax evasion and money laundering, among others.
Illicit flows are by their very nature difficult to quantify with any deal of certainty. Despite the commitment to action since the early 2000s, if we are to go by reports such as that of the high-level panel, illicit flows have increased substantially both in Africa and elsewhere.
It is estimated that $50 billion leaves Africa through illicit financial flows. Earlier this year, the International Monetary Fund said these activities undermined the integrity and stability of financial institutions and systems. Meanwhile, a University of Pretoria professor says working together will help curb illicit financial flows.
Illicit financial flows obviously pose a serious risk to that democracy and result in seriously adverse consequences which are borne by everyone in society. They disempower governments by expropriating much-needed resources that could have otherwise been used in the provision of public goods and services, and the alleviation of poverty through social and economic development programs.
Gordhan says illicit money and laundering in Africa reduce creation of jobs. He called on correct laws to be implemented to fight this scourge.
Enforcement systems must have dedicated personnel focused on these complex crimes to achieve higher conviction rates. And one of the challenges, I'm sure you agree with me, is that there's hardly any convictions taking place. And if there are no serious attempts at prosecuting people who are engaging in these activities, who must take your law seriously? Because there are no consequences, there's no deterrence, there's no risk being actually taken.
With African countries now beginning to exchange information to identify the high net worth individuals who have undeclared their assets abroad, it remains to be seen if the fight against illicit financial flows will succeed anytime soon. Mpho Matoho, ANN7, Pretoria.